show you a quick video on Bluecruise. I know Bluecruise is not something that's just in the Lightning. It's actually in all, higher trim. F150s, you can get it, I believe. I think you can get it in the Lariats. I think you can even get an XLT, and definitely Platinum. But basically all you got to do is turn on your cruise control, set it, and then a screen will pop up basically saying Bluecruise on, watch the road, and it basically takes over. So every time you turn your blinker on, so it turns off quickly, but it'll pop right back on. You don't have to touch anything. But I mean, it's hands-free. These sensors, this sensor right here, this sensor right there, it watches your eyes. So I mean, if I look away, which I'm looking away right now, I know you can't see me, I look away for a certain amount of time, it's going to beep at me. And if I continue to look away, it's going to disable. Resume control. So it'll start hitting the brakes even after that, but I'm by myself. I don't want to I don't want to wreck or something, so, or wreck with somebody else. So the hands-free, I mean, it's a, I don't know if anybody else is doing it quite yet. I think there's something Chevy or GMC has, Super Cruise, I think they call it. I think they're hands-free, and they have like a little sensor on the steering wheel that I believe watches your eyes as well. But this system worked great all the way down to Nashville. It also has the speed adjusting cruise. So like when you come up on another car, which I'll show you here in a second, but you turn your blinker on and then you'll feel it take over. So I mean, you're just sitting in the lane and it's going to take over. So hands-free. And the only thing I don't like about it, it gets pretty tight to the line. So I mean, when you're passing semi trucks and they're doing a lot slower in some of the hills we went through on the way to Nashville, it's a little scary. So I mean, I usually keep my hands a little closer to the wheel during that time. But as you can see, I was doing 78. Now I'm dropping just because of the cars in front of me, and it'll actually stop with traffic. So if I ran into a traffic jam, it'll slow you down. It's a little bit nerving. I'm not used to it quite yet. I mean, the hands-free I feel pretty comfortable with, but the stop and go I don't as much right now. And then it also, the cruise control, you can set it to, once its speed limit changes, it'll do 5 over, 10 over. So I mean, it just dropped my speed, my cruise. I had it set for 80, now it's set for 75 because it just dropped to 65. So I'm gonna drop it down a little bit less. But the whole cruise control system is pretty slick. I've got really no complaints about it. The hands-free has worked pretty much flawlessly. I mean, when it was real bad out, it was working at times where I don't even know how it could tell where the lines were on the road, so it was working when like the roads were pretty much snow covered, or maybe each edge was snow covered and there was wheel lines. But it did, at some point it did stop working, or it just didn't turn on. It didn't give me any errors or anything like that. It works much better than like your front and rear sensors, like you have your backup sensors and things like that. It does work better than that. It doesn't like I don't know, I think maybe it's in the windshield, I'm not sure, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't work the cameras, but it definitely works better than your front and rear backup and front assist sensors. It doesn't seem to be like, hey, clear the ice off the sensors. I didn't get that message once. All the way down Nashville, it was warmer, but even through the blizzard that we had and all the snow, I never saw an error like that. It just, when it was total whiteout, or if the roads were totally covered, it just didn't turn on. So I mean, this is a pretty main highway where we live. Route 90, it goes east and west, I think from like New York, Chicago or something. But it's definitely mapped, and I haven't had it turn off on me unless, there's like a split in the highway or something like that. If there's a split in the highway, it will tell you, hey, grab the wheel for a minute, but it's still autonomous drive. I mean, it's driving. It's just asking you to put your hand on the wheel and give it a little tug, and it knows that you're actually have your hand on the wheel, but it keeps you, it's still got lane centering. And there's a little icon down here, I don't know if you can see it, that basically tells you what sensors are on. There's the front ones, then there's on the side as well. So yeah, even if I have my phone up, it does see that I'm blocking my view, and it doesn't work that well. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty good system. It doesn't change lanes automatically when you do, like I said, you do turn your blinkers on. It will turn off quickly and then re-engage. As you can tell, I mean, and just like any cruise, you can adjust the spacing in between the cars. I just cannot think of the name for that, for the cruise control. It's slowing down. I'll put it on the screen once I get my brain back here. But it's pretty slick. I haven't had it on any of my other cars, and just that alone is nice. If I didn't have Bluecruise, I think I could live without it. It's nothing that's a necessity. It's pretty cool, but not a necessity. If you just had lane centering, and I think that's a big stress reliever. But you turn your blinker on and it automatically shuts off, so you can see no blue screen. Turn it off and it re-engages. Blue screen says hands-free on the steering wheel. So it's pretty cool, intuitive. It's very easy. At first I was like, how do I turn on Bluecruise? Is there a button or something? There's no button. You just put your cruise on, and if it's one of the mapped highways, it pops up. If it's not a mapped highway, once you put the cruise on, it'll, like I said, you just have to have your hand on the wheel, and it'll come up with the little sensors and where they're at, but it won't be hands-free. It won't say hands-free. The issue with that, it is a little bit of a pain in the butt, because it's constantly telling you, hey, put your hands on the wheel, put your hands on the wheel. Even if your hand's on the wheel, it's like it needs you to give it some sort of feedback. So I found that to be a little bit annoying on my trip to Nashville, when there was some of these side highways or some smaller highways that we were on that didn't have Bluecruise. So other than that, that's all I got for Bluecruise. I think it's a good system. It's not quite Tesla, I guess. I've heard that one changes lanes. I'm not sure. Like when you put your blinker on, it'll automatically take you over. But that doesn't really bother me. I think the best one, if it ever comes out, is if you're riding and it automatically turns your blinker on once you come up to a car. Like, that's the only one that I think would be worth it. But other than that, that's Bluecruise. My personal review, I think it's a good system. Not a necessity, but something cool to have on a long road trip, like going to Nashville 8-9 hours. But all right, that's all I got. Thank you. Please subscribe, share, and like.